Hey there, Crystal Covington here, founder at Women of Denver, and I'm here chatting with one of our members, Nina Sonovia Brown, a beautiful, beautiful spirit that I'm excited to talk to today, especially in the morning. I love talking to beautiful spirits in the morning. And she is the CEO of Solonco Biofeedback, and she's going to teach us some stuff that sounds really hard, but she makes it really, really palatable to understand how you can use these tools to really change your life. So Nina,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about how you got to this place in your life. Tell us a little bit about your journey and what you do.
Yes. So I got to this place in terms of my professional journey by observing others. I found that people were what I like to call cycling, right? And what I mean by that is that they were taking one step forward and two steps backwards. And I got at the time, I was doing a lot of training on goal setting and how to be intentional about goal setting and realized that that's a space where there are a lot of professionals doing some great work and decided that this was probably about 11 years ago, decided that I would focus on what allows some people to achieve their goals and others, they do this cycling where they take one step forward and a couple of steps back. And I realized that for me, things were happening in the fight or flight sector of our brain. So if we take our brain and divided it into three parts, so we have fight or flight response, which is where our fear response is. And then if we had a band on our head and we went a little deeper in that band across our head, in the middle part of our brain is where our emotions are. It's where we're going to house our memories. And then the front part is where we're going to execute. And so I was really fascinated as to why some people use the front part of their brain and why some people were stuck in kind of this cycle from the middle brain to the back part of their brain. And that led me to really focus on stress response, building resilience, how to improve resilience and build better relationships, how to improve performance, how to go from here to here. And studied for many, many, many years, partnered with various biofeedback companies and biofeedback devices. I was able to be a part of beta testing devices to allow new data and new research to come out focused on women, focused on people of color, being able to really understand, yes, our systems are the same, but what our memories are and what our fear responses are, those loops are sometimes different. So I got into this space out of a need of watching others and knowing that every time I talked about this, people said, yes, I need to work with you. And that's what led me to this part of my career.
Amazing. So tell me a little bit about the layman's version of understanding what biofeedback is before we talk about how it works.
Yeah. So biofeedback is really just getting data from our systems, whether it's our circulatory system in terms of our respiratory system, whether it's our cardiovascular system in terms of our heartbeats. It's just taking data, the feedback from our bodies in order to inform us of what's going on so we can act in a different way.
Okay, so like our Fitbits and things like that can count for that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's simple. All right, I'm already doing that now.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
now tell me how we use that information or what information you prioritize to use to understand how we can improve performance and our relationships.
Yes. And so what I do as a practicing clinician in the practice in the clinic is that we receive this data from your Fitbits, for example. We receive this data and certain patterns allows us to know what behaviors are coming up, if the individual is in fact moving forward, stagnant, or starting to regress. We use that data from our systems, from our body, from a Fitbit or heart rate variability devices that we use to inform them of either they're walking towards their goal of performance or building better relationships, or they're walking away. And then we come up with tools. I'm a licensed professional counselor as well. So we come up with cognitive tools, with clinical evidence-based tools to move the person forward.
Wow, okay. You make everything sound really simple. It's like, okay, everybody should be doing this.
You should.
So, what's one thing that people can start actively doing right now that can maybe one quick tip that they can start paying attention to. If you pay attention to this thing, you can change this impact in your life.
Yeah, we have been doing a lot of research, particularly now as people aren't coming into the clinic, and we're not able to see them, but we're receiving data. But people are living their lives and they're being triggered, right? And those triggers, when I say trigger, I'm referring to it either sticks in the back of their brain or in that band where the emotion and the memory is, and they start to loop, and that trigger keeps them stuck. And so what I've been working with, and the team's been working very successfully with individuals that need something immediately, whether I'm in the car, whether I hear something on the news, whether I'm having in a conversation with an individual, they want something immediately. So that immediate, and I do this often if I find myself getting anxious or I'm stuck or I can't move. Let me explain, let me step back for a moment. When I talk about the fear response, we typically know that there are 3 fear responses. There's a freeze, we're gonna assess, is this a threat? There is a fight where we're just going to jump in and try and just get through it. Or there is a flight where we retreat and try and move away from what we perceive as a threat, as a stressful situation. But there's a 4th element to that, and it's called fawn. And that element is that we just kind of go along, right? So our systems are still working really hard to assess, is this a threat? Is this good for me? And we're just going along. So there are 4 responses. And what the tool that I'm going to share with you right now gets us out of that. And it is very simple. When people are in those fight, flight, fawn, or freeze response, we're trying to move them from this ability of seeing this as a threat to this is just a challenge, right?
Right.
And so what does that mean? If it's a challenge, do I have the skill set to move me through this challenge? And so we try and remind them of that skill set. But the first thing I really have people do that are activated, when you're in that state, I call it an activation, is I just say pause. Don't focus on your breathing, because your breathing at that point, every inhale that you take is going to send a response to your body. Here's the biofeedback, a response to your body that you're getting ready to do something, because you already said that's a threat. Okay, that's a threat. Now you're taking this deep breath and you're saying, okay, system alert, ready to go. Are we going to fight? Are we going to freeze? Are we going to flee? Are we going to just get along, right? So what this tool does right now, we're going to practice, is we're just going to calm our system down so we can access the higher level part of our brain so that we can move forward. And simply, we're just going to identify 5 things in our environment. So I'll go first. A silver lamp, a video screening device that allows me to have better lighting, a computer monitor, a picture of my family, a medal from a race. And you see how your tone can even, the breath will even calm down.
Mm-hmm.
So some people will rapidly go, okay, a picture, a monitor. And then if your breath is still labored, I always say, use that feedback from your body, from your systems that haven't caught up to what you're asking it to do, and relabel something else until your system calms down, and then you can access that higher level of functioning. In that space, you're performing better. You're turning to your partners, to your significant others, to your friends, to your co-workers, and you're able to really hear them versus assessing, is this a threat?
Yeah. I can see how that just gets you out of yourself, because you get out of your head, you're into another space, and you're just centered, almost like grounded into the space that you're in. That makes a lot of sense, and that's easy to do.
And you can do it wherever. I've had clients who have had attacks going in public because of our current state of being in this pandemic. And so they will actually use it when they have to go out in public, and they're able to function. And it's one of the things where our system, when we slow down enough, our system catches up. We want to be in a homeostasis state. We want to be balanced. And that's the quickest way that I have found clients in this state who want to be balanced and be able to function have been able to utilize the tool.
Wonderful. So how can people keep in touch with you, follow your work, and find out if there's a way that you can support them?
Yes, absolutely. It seemed like the more engaging way that people have been able to do that is on my Instagram at Nina, Nina, Sonovia, Sono, V as in Victor, IA. So it's at Nina Sonovia. And I do a Brain Fact Friday every Friday there. I'll sometimes use my own I don't use my client's information, but I'll use my own biofeedback devices if there's something big coming up. The audience can engage with me and walk with me through that process. And I actually use the tools that are showing how my system's responding. My goal really for this work is that it's accessible to everyone. But I also know some of the devices that we use, some of the work that we do is sometimes cost prohibitive. And so I try and use very practical tools and information, particularly on Brain Fact Friday, that allows people to learn about the brain, to learn about their systems and tools in which to help them perform better and engage in relationships in a more thoughtful way.
Wonderful. Thanks for taking the time to chat and share a little bit about who you are for the Women of Denver community and all the people who follow. And I
Oh,
look
thank
forward
you.
to, following along and seeing more of what you've got to share.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.